Why did Josh Huff have the longest pass attempt of the night? Why use your number 2 overall pick on Carson Wentz if he's not going to throw the ball goddamn 10 yards past the line of scrimmage? Why didn't Caleb Sturgis kick that 53-yard field goal? Why is Wendell Smallwood getting the ball in the fourth quarter after not touching it all game? Why, when the game is on the line, you go to your third-string tight end? Doug Pederson, the honeymoon's over, pal. You fucked up. And you fucked up against the Dallas Cowboys. With the division on the line, you fucked up. 29-23, Eagles lost a game they shouldn't have lost. Doug Pederson gave it away. Mike Owens is here. I'm Adrian Fedque. That was as poor of a coaching job as it gets.
Well, this was the fear for us when the Eagles hired Doug Pederson, that this was the type of game that he was going to call. And that's a very conservative game. Heading into this key NFC East battle against the Cowboys, where the Eagles really needed a victory, and Doug Pederson comes up short. And he comes up really short in this one. He really needed to come out with an aggressive game plan, especially after early on when the Cowboys connected with a long pass to Dez Bryant and Elliott was running up and down the field. You knew that the Cowboys were going to be bringing the heat on offense. Well, the Eagles didn't bring any heat on offense. Instead, they decided to run plays behind the line of scrimmage, throw the ball with Josh Huff. Just act like idiots, really. Just acted like a bunch of clowns on offense. And the worst part was why the Cowboys are out there with their fourth-round rookie QB and Dak Prescott, letting him take control of the game, handing him the keys to the game. The Eagles have the number 2 overall pick in Carson Wentz, who they were holding in a jail cell for the entire game. So you're not going to do much when you have your quarterback in a jail cell and you're running the ball and trying to stay conservative. And then when the game's on the line, you're throwing a swing pass behind the line of scrimmage, and then you're deciding not to kick a 53 or 54-yard field goal when your kicker made a 55-yarder earlier in the game. So, yeah, I think it's safe to say that, this show, we're going to be pissed off at Doug Pederson, and we have every right to be.
Yeah, nobody's doing any Dougies today. That's for sure. Dude, so let's talk about the swing pass. All right, so it only pissed me off even further. Red snorting emojis everywhere. I mean, listening to this press conference today, I would have called the same play again. Shut the fuck up. Are you serious? 3rd and 8. You're going to throw the ball horizontally. We got enough of that goddamn swing pass the last 3 years with Chip Kelly. And now we're seeing this shit again. Instead of first down, though, it's on 3rd down. 3rd and 8. 3rd and 8. So you call that play. And it's like, all right, he says he would have called it again. See, I'm more pissed about this. Because every time I'm seeing a 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, he's not letting Carson Wentz throw the ball past the sticks. That's fucking bullshit. Carson Wentz, you spent the number 2 overall pick on the guy. What's the point? What's the point on doing it if he's throwing everything less than 10 yards? You might as well bring Tim Tebow back to quarterback the fucking Eagles. Are you serious? God. So, and we talked about this last night. You brought up the point. Every time it was 2nd and 1, 2nd and 2, it's one wide receiver screen pass, another wide receiver screen pass, and another one. And it never fucking worked. So 2nd and 1, 2nd and short, that is the time to take your shots down the field. And they didn't do it. Now, this is where you might rebuttal and say, well, the Eagles, they don't have a wide receiver that can get deep, and their offensive line, Halapoulivaati Vaitai, that's the right tackle. Sure, you're right, but you still got to take some shots. Fuck, man, just let Nelson Aguilar go on a go route. Even though he sucks, you still got to throw the ball. You got to keep them honest. You got to keep the defense honest. Did you see how the Cowboys were just flying to the ball yesterday on these short passes because they knew it was coming? It was so goddamn predictable. Oh, fuck you, Dallas. Fucking piece of shit.
Uh, yeah, I mean, and as far as the Cowboys go, you can't blame them. They weren't respecting the Eagles and the deep ball, and why should they? Because the Eagles weren't even attempting it. And I don't care who the hell the Eagles have out there, wide receiver. At some point during the game, you got to throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field. And I don't want Josh Huff being the guy to throw the ball more than 20 yards down the field. It's got to be Carson Wentz.
Unbelievable.
Just that play call there near the end of the game will be stuck in my mind forever this season. You're at the 30-yard line. All you need to do is gain 0 yards. Don't go anywhere. Take a damn kneel. Whatever you do not lose the 5 yards on the play. And somehow they draw up a play where they lose yardage, where that's the last possible thing you want to do in that situation. How in the world do you lose yardage? And not only do they call a play, a swing pass, they call a play where Sean Lee is going to be involved in the play. Well, that is just the most idiotic thing I've ever heard of. Why would you want one of the most athletic and fastest linebackers in the league to be involved in a play? So they allow Sean Lee to make a play. He made a great play, and the Eagles fucking lose 5 yards. And now, instead of kicking a field goal, we punt the ball, and we try to rely on our defense, who we had to rely on too much throughout the game. And the defense finally broke down because the Cowboys had too many weapons on offense. So this one falls on Pederson. Just the play calling down the stretch was just terrific. And this was a case where if there's ever they make a video in the NFL how to blow a 10-point lead, well, this game right here is going to be a prime example of how you do it.
Oh, fuck, man. I was dreading doing this show today, but at the same time, it's still therapeutic. I could just get my frustrations out. I had to hold it in and all this shit. So, dude, it's like, again, it's like when the game was on the line for Dallas, they went to Des Bryant. We went to Trey Burton. That's what we did. Yeah. That's just fucking fantastic. And like those wide receiver screens are going to Jordan Matthews. Jordan Matthews isn't this quick and shifty guy after the catch that's elusive and, capable of running these screens. This is a play you call for Josh Huff, not for Jordan Matthews. So it's like, oh my God, just everything about the second half from Doug Pederson went to shit.
Oh, it sure did. And, then, we have Ryan Matthews, who was just, sitting on the bench. Our best running back. Yeah, he's had problems fumbling the ball, down the stretch in some games, but he's still the best running back on this team, and he's not playing. He's just sitting on the bench. So instead of, bringing him in a key situation in the second half when we had the lead, we decided that we're going to bring in Wendell Smallwood. Well, geez, I don't think we've seen much of Wendell Smallwood since about the Steelers game. So we decided to bring him in for one play, and, well, he loses control of the football, and he fumbles. So that was just a great decision to have him in there in that situation. I mean, I would have had Matthews in there in that situation. At least he's a veteran guy. I know that he's fumbled before in the past, but Wendell Smallwood is a rookie, and he was a mid-round pick at that. So he's not the guy that I want in there in that situation.
I mean, it's like I would have felt differently about it had they used Smallwood throughout the game. Had he had some carries under his belt. They just threw him right in there. It's the fourth quarter, and that's his first carry of the game? Like, are you serious? Like Kenya Barner was getting carries throughout the game. He should have been the guy getting those carries. It's ridiculous. So, yeah, Ryan Matthews got 4 carries for 10 yards last night. He actually played pretty well last week before the fumble. So I'm kind of with you. He's been playing okay the last couple of weeks. Somebody's lit a fire up, under his ass. That's for sure. So, going back to this game, I was kind of wrong about it. It didn't go the way I expected. They were able to get pressure on Dak Prescott, and I knew coming in they had some success against the Cowboys offensive line coming in, but like with a different scheme. I know Jim Schwartz is a lot better than Billy Davis, but the way we looked against the Redskins and the way we looked against the Lions on the road, I was a little bit concerned coming in. But I think Jim Schwartz has really figured something out since last week about bringing the blitz and being opportunistic with it. And they got to Dak last night. Dak was only 18 of 39, I think. So he did not look good. I don't care what the stats were. I didn't think he didn't impress me. He didn't look good when the pressure came. I mean, this was something that I talked about when EDP and I compared Wentz and Prescott. Having to face that pressure in the pocket, that's something he struggled with at Mississippi State, and we saw some of it last night. And as many negatives as there were about this game, Brandon Graham was fucking outstanding. Jordan Hicks was fucking outstanding. Rodney McLeod is an exceptional blitzer, always times it correctly. So there were some really good things that went on last night with our defense. Halapuluvati Vaitai played okay. So there were some good things to take out of this game, and then it's just like Doug Pederson just fucked it all up again.
Well, yeah, that's the thing that's most frustrating about this is we did a lot of good things, and we're sitting there late in the second half. We have a 10-point lead, and you're starting to think ahead. You're like, wow, okay, Jesus Christ, we win this game, first place in the NFC East. Things are looking great, Things are looking bright. You're thinking, all right, hey, what the hell? Maybe we win this division. We go into the playoffs. Maybe we'll even steal one playoff game, and then we can call it a good season. And, now you really have to start to wonder with the way that Doug Pederson handled the rest of that second half with the play calling. And you talk about Schwartz. I mean, and the Eagles defense did a hell of a job. And it's a shame that Pederson had to waste such a dominant performance from the Eagles defense. They really stepped up to the plate. They made Prescott look like a rookie. And that was the first time all season that Prescott looked like a rookie. He was confused with some of the blitzes and the schemes that they were running on defense. Hell, Prescott even threw an interception in the end zone. We never thought we would see that. It was a bad pick by Prescott, too. He didn't even see Jordan Hicks. All these great things the defense did. They shut down Cole Beasley. We were afraid that Cole Beasley was going to go off. Jalen Mills steps up. He's playing really well. But it's all wasted. And like you said, who would have thought Big freaking V, the guy who was a disaster in his first NFL start, is actually one of the best players along our offensive line right now. He's playing good football. I never thought I would be saying that. And all of that gets wasted by this conservative play calling by Doug Pederson.
It's like you can you can kind of understand the conservative play calling because of the offensive line situation, taking the quick step drops and making sure that you hide the deficiencies of Big V. But that was the thing. He was playing okay. He was playing pretty well. So by halftime, you should see that he's playing okay and make some adjustments and take some more shots down the field. Are you kidding me? It's wow, dude. I'm completely baffled. We ran Chip Kelly out of town. I'll tell you what, Chip Kelly never had a fucking game like that.
Yeah. I mean, people should be running Doug Pederson out of town the way that he coached that game because that was awful. It's tough to talk about today. I mean, considering that we had 10-point lead like that late in the game and somehow we managed to lose that game, it really just it doesn't make any sense. And the one thing that worried me about Doug Pederson was that introductory press conference. He did a great job throughout that introductory press conference, but there was the one question they asked him immediately that threw up a red flag when they talked about that playoff game against the Patriots and Tom Brady and how they handled that situation at the end of the game. And immediately red flags went up. And that's what I was concerned about with Doug Pederson is when we get into a game like this and we have a lead, what's going to happen? Is he going to be able to stay aggressive and allow us to close out the game? Well, and this is why I was worried about these red flags for a situation like last night where he decided that he was going to stay conservative. And then when he decides to get aggressive and throw a trick play in there, you decide to run it with Josh Huff, the guy who only is good for returning kickoffs and doing things on special teams. You want this guy who is always making some kind of mistake on offense, either fumbling the ball or making a bonehead play. You want him trying to throw a pass late in the game in a key situation. And that was his most aggressive play call of the entire night, was Josh Huff with the ball in his hands. Not Carson Wentz, Josh Huff. So, yeah, that's it. Go back to that introductory press conference and threw up the red flags, and I think you can see why we were concerned last night, and that's why.
Yeah, I mean, that late clock situation, you don't call the timeouts there. You know, Doug, I don't know if you know this, but there was this, miracle at the Meadowlands that happened one time where, Deshaun Jackson, he returned a punt for a touchdown, won the Eagles the game. I just saying. Jesus fuck. Your kicker is 17 of 18 on the year. He not only hits one 55-yard field goal before the half, he hit it twice because Dallas called that timeout. He still nailed it. And you punt the ball. Have no faith in your kicker. Way to go. And then Dallas is at the 40-yard line, 4 plays. That's just fucking fantastic. Oh, man. Dude, just look at these numbers, man. Carson Wentz he had 32 completions, 32 of 43 for only 202 yards. 202 yards. Jordan Matthews, 11 catches, 65 yards. It's awful. I believe the numbers were Wentz had 4.7 yards per attempt, 4.3 air yards, which is just awful, ridiculous. I believe he's only thrown 4 passes over 20 yards in the last 2 weeks. You spend the number 2 overall pick on the guy, you got to show some confidence in him. And we know that Wentz can sling it. We've seen it. It's not like Chase Daniel's your fucking quarterback.
Well, that's what makes no sense about this whole thing with Wentz, because the plan with Pederson has for Wentz, it's reversed. It's backwards. Because in the beginning of the year, the first 3 games, he had all the faith in the world in Wentz. I mean, Jesus Christ. You think about week 2, Monday Night Football in Chicago against the Bears, and how did the Eagles start out the game? Empty backfield with Wentz, keys to the offense. He's out there slinging the ball around, and he does a hell of a job, leads the Eagles to a victory. Steelers game, he puts all the faith in Wentz again. Wentz does an outstanding job. He's completing passes, scrambling, making guys miss, throwing a 73-yard pass to Darren Sproles to start the second half in that game. So Wentz, he had the keys, and the Eagles went out to a 3-0 record. And ever since then, now we're scared. It's like we're scared to give the ball to Wentz, and it makes no sense at all. And ever since that's why we're losing games, because we're not putting the ball in Wentz's hands. We're becoming way too conservative. We're not trying to go down the field. And now what's happened is Doug Pederson has become very predictable with his play calling. Now teams aren't going to respect the deep ball. And then that's when things really start to get tough on offense, because you're not going to be able to do much.
Yeah, I mean, if you continue to dink and dunk the ball and not keep the defense honest, I mean, the offense is going to become beyond predictable. You know, everyone hated Chip because his offense was predictable. Well, hey, here's what the Eagles are doing. Fucking 2nd and 1, screen pass. 3rd and 5, either a quick slant or a stop route. It's quick slant like 75% of the time. So it is predictable. Each coach has their own tendencies. That's like something that I tried to fucking tell you guys last year about Chip, and no one wanted to listen. You know, but that's another point. So it's like what the fuck, dude? Oh, you can't
And
be
then it's
conservative. Like, God, this we were in Big D, fucking Big Dick Dog, and he had a little dick last night. Smallwood. He went to the guy with the Smallwood.
oh boy. Yeah, he went with the guy with the small wood, and he came up small. Came up very small, freaking fumble. And what's so disappointing about that is that you can't even like. I wasn't even pissed off with Smallwood because the guy's a damn rookie, and we're throwing him in there in that situation. He hasn't carried the ball all game. It's completely on Pederson. You can't put the guy in that situation. Just I mean, it's beyond frustrating, and really at this point, the Eagles could be in trouble because they got to figure out something on offense, and Pederson has to figure out how to come up with a better game plan. And the other thing that was very concerning to me about his press conference today is, day after press conference, is Ertz was brought up, and they're like, "What's going on with Ertz? Why is he not getting involved more?" And he's saying that, well, a lot of times Ertz isn't the primary target on a lot of these passes. Well, I'll tell you what, Ertz better become the primary target on a lot of these passes because no one else is doing jack shit. So it's about time we start drawing up some plays for the tight ends. Hell, the first game against the Browns, we got the tight ends involved. Ever since then, they've gotten that. I mean, the Steelers game too, we had Solo got involved, but ever since, they've kind of disappeared. They haven't been a part of the game plan. So Doug Pederson, he needs to do something this week because he's got to get his ass back in gear. Otherwise, Eagles are going to be in trouble because, they can do all they want on defense, but if this offense can't put up points, then it's not going to matter.
I mean, it almost seems very simple. Like, we saw the first couple weeks how Doug utilized all these different formations and really got shit going that way. Called different type of plays and now it's like it's the last couple of weeks it's been the same shit. And I just that's what I don't understand. And I just so many different looks. I mean, even in the preseason we saw this. All these that's like we were complimentary of Doug. We're like, oh my God, look at all these different formations he's using, all these different play calls. And now he's resorting to what he feels most comfortable with, and it's becoming predictable. And it's like you're calling the play before it even happens. And even some of the play calls on like 3rd and 2, 3rd and 3 in the first half, calling these slow developing running plays. If you're a 3rd and 2, you want to pound that shit up the middle, hit the crease hard and quick. Instead, it's like what? It's like a delay call. That's not what you call on 3rd and 2.
Yeah, and the thing is, like Doug Pederson, he's done a nice job with the tempo at certain points throughout the game. And it's like when we get in these 3rd and short situations, 3rd and 2, that's when you want to hurry up to the line of scrimmage and maybe just pound the ball down their throat. You pick up those 2 or 3 yards, you get the first down. Instead, they're not doing it. And, like you said, it's becoming so predictable. I mean, you just see the play developing and you're thinking there's no way that they could possibly try to attempt another wide receiver screen pass here. And they do it. And they fucking do it. And you see Jordan Matthews and you're like, no, they can't think that this is going to work again. And they try it. Where you see Josh Huff go in motion and you know what they're going to do. And it doesn't work. And it's just at some point you have to realize that's not going to work. And then But Carson Wentz, the one thing that he was really off on last night was that bubble screen, trying to get it set up with Darren Sproles. And for some reason, after the first time when he saw that the Wentz was very low on in the second one he was low too, but somehow he completed it. But for some reason, Pederson continued to try to call it when that was the one thing that Wentz wasn't doing well all night long.
Yeah, that's a good point you bring up, because as accurate as Wentz was, 32-43, the numbers look great, but his ball placement, again, wasn't like that great. Because on those wide receiver screens, I mean, if you're not putting the ball on the proper shoulder, that's another reason why they were going backwards, because he was putting the ball on this side instead of this side, instead of heading upfield, having that momentum to go upfield right away. And some of the tosses were low. So, yeah, Wentz wasn't really on his game. He was on his game, but he wasn't on his game, if that makes any sense. And, like, dude, like, I'm just thinking right now, like, remember the Browns game, man? Like, that first touchdown Wentz threw. Where's that play call? Where's that shit? Why isn't Jordan Matthews running deep crosses? Why is he running screenplays? Why isn't Dorial Green-Beckham running a deep in route, a post route? Instead, he's running these fucking quick slants. Quick slants galore. God. Quick slants, an appropriate title for that CSN show right now. Jeez, man. Ertz, up
Well,
where is it? Where's the pop pass?
All those good plays got thrown out in the trash during the bye week, apparently.
Oh, well, this is a good play call. We'll throw this one in the trash can. Oh, this one got a touchdown. We'll throw that one away, too.
I don't know what happened during that bye week, but it was the worst thing that could have ever happened to this team.
Dude, even if the receivers are struggling to get separation, Wentz has been throwing dimes. Dimes! Give him the opportunity to throw some more dimes. What the fuck? Oh, my God. And they weren't even dimes. Like I said, they were quarters.
Well, but I mean, what really makes you angry when you watch that game last night is you look at Prescott and you're like, wow, my God, this guy, he's got an offensive line that dominates. He's got a running back that when he gets the ball, he bulldozes for 9 yards like it's nothing. He can throw up a ball to Des Bryant, who will make a spectacular catch. He's got a Hall of Fame tight end. And then you look what Wentz is working with. The guy is just throwing these darts, and his wide receivers are just acting like clowns, and they're just dropping these easy passes. I mean, DGB dropping a ball at the 2-yard line, Aguilar dropping passes. Everybody was dropping passes. I don't know what the total that they ended up with, but it was like 6 drops at one point.
6 drops.
Yeah. 6 drops. Get no help. He just gets no help at all. And you just wonder what the guy could do if he had a wide receiver.
Yeah, I mean, DJ somewhat played well last night, and then the drops came. So it's like we're still dealing with that bullshit with him. Aguilar had a big drop on a 3rd and 6 I think it was 3rd and 6, 3rd and 8, whatever it was. He might have had an opportunity to get a first down. And let me get to his comments, because, dude, he really needs to shut his fucking mouth. But all right, let me see if I can find it. So he wants to stop hearing about the drops, right? Well, if you want to stop hearing about the drops, catch the fucking ball. So here it is. Here we go. I don't give a damn, man. That shit is nothing. You just have to make the next one. Everybody runs routes. Sometimes they are contested. Sometimes you drop them. If you make as many as possible, that can come your way. You'll put yourself in a good position. No one is perfect. I don't look at no drops or that type of shit. I'm so tired of hearing that shit. It's just stupid. We play football. I dropped the first one. I didn't drop one after that. What does it matter? Because if we lose, then it's like we'll place the blame on this person did this. No, as a team, we have a responsibility to win football games, and I get it. Some plays could have helped, but there were still 4 quarters of football to be played, and we got to win. I don't got time for that no more. I got time to win football games only. No statistics. Okay? Well, those drops aren't helping you win football games, Nelly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we're all about, fed up with Nelson Aguilar here.
I'm done with him.
We've given him enough time here. It's he has to start making plays. He's just not doing it. It's just not happening. We're not seeing that speed that we saw him have in college. So it's not good. And then even like we were talking about, I was impressed with the way that DGB played in the first half, and then it's like the second half comes around, and we see the same stuff that he's been struggling with. These drops. It's absolutely killing him, and he was a guy that we really could have used a 100-yard night from last night, and he wasn't able to do it because of the drops. So, I mean, the Eagles. This comes down to it where people are saying, "Oh, well, we'll just go out and we'll trade for a wide receiver." Well, I'll tell you what, that's not going to do anything because, first off, Eagles don't throw the ball down the field. Second off, it's going to take the wide receiver some time to get adjusted to the system. I mean, look at DGB. We got him close to the start of the regular season, and he's still learning the offense. So it takes time for a wide receiver to get adjusted. So you can't just go out and get some guy off in a trade and expect him to come in here and contribute right away. The only guy that could possibly do that would be Alshon Jeffrey. But at this point, it seems like that's pretty much going to be impossible with the way his contract is set up and everything, and how much money the Eagles would have to pay him and a bunch of stuff, what the Eagles would have to give up. So, yeah, there's just no one out there that's really going to be able to make a difference for this team right now in the way they're calling plays.
Yeah, Torrey Smith is not cutting it. $9.3 million cap hit. I wouldn't even give up anything for him. I don't even want him. I'm sorry. I don't want him. And then for Jeffrey, it's I wanted him if I would have known we could sign him to an extension, but according to the CBA, you're not allowed to do that. So, I mean, sure, you can maybe agree in principle, but shit can always change. Yeah, I mean, he's a free agent at the end of the year. So, but for me, it's like you might as well just wait. Now, sure, you could have maybe put the franchise tag on him, but the franchise tag is, a ridiculous amount of money, and I want to re-sign Benny Logan. So, you'd really be in a pickle if you bring Alshon Jeffrey in. And with 6, he'd only be available basically for what, 4 or 5 games by the time he's really ready. Sure, that could be by the end of the year when you're trying to make a playoff run, but yeah, at this point, it's the whole. I was in favor for this trade, and then until I heard the CBA thing, I'm like, I'm a little hesitant now. So I don't know who else would be out there. I don't want Torrey Smith for that cap hit, so forget about that. Dude, I think it's more the play calling than it is receivers. Wentz has the capability of just bringing out, at least something out of his receivers if you allow him to. And Doug's not really allowing him to do that. That's the big problem for me. So, yeah, that's that.
Yeah, Doug Pederson has everyone on a leash, and it's not a long leash. It's a pretty short one right now.
Yeah. All right. What else is there to talk about? I don't really know. I'll tell you what. I was having a blast watching Fletcher Cox going up against Zach Martin. That was awesome. I'll just say that. Other than that, I don't really know what else to say. Got final thoughts, maybe?
Yeah, final thoughts. We made it through the show. Thank God. We got all that crap out of the way.
I have a stroke, so I'm good.
Oh God, yeah, this is gonna take some time to get over. This was a tough one. This one hurts big time because it kind of it really kind of changes the outlook here on things. The Eagles were about to be tied and really in the lead for first place in the NFCs because they would have had the tiebreaker. And now we're sitting 2 games behind the Cowboys, and it's yeah, so it's not looking good. They've got to Pederson really has to go back and analyze his play calling. And the only way this offense is going to be able to turn things around is if they decide to give the ball to Carson Wentz again and let him win or lose games. And I'll tell you what, I mean, I would put the ball in his hands because he's the only guy in offense right now that I trust. So put the ball in his hands, and what the hell? If he throws a pick here or there, it's expected. I mean, the guy is playing really good football, so I think you got to put the ball in his hands and let him go out and win games for you instead of trying to be conservative and throw balls behind a line of scrimmage. Let the guy go out and do his thing and win games for you.
You know what I forgot to discuss? Last night's press conference. Like, dude, I'm like sitting there just getting even more pissed off because he didn't really show any emotion. He's like, well, this is a great learning experience for us. Are you fucking kidding me? Dude. We're ending the show. I'm done. Mike Owens, I'm Adrian. Thank you. Grow some balls, Doug. Later.
Later.